Hello, amazing parents and caretakers, and welcome to the Pumped Up Parenting Podcast. I'm your family empowerment coach, Celia Kibler. I'm a mom of a blended family of 5 kids. I'm a grandma of 9 kids, an author, a teacher, a speaker, and a consultant with over 40 years of training and real-life parenting experience. I'm here to offer you practical, doable tips, strategies, and techniques that will pump up your parenting skills and create peace, love, and laughter throughout your family. In addition, I'll be interviewing some great humans that are on a mission to make your life a better, happier, and healthier life. So let's not waste any time and get started with the next episode of the Pumped Up Parenting Podcast. Thanks for listening. Hi, everyone. Welcome. And we're talking about a very important topic to parents because so many parents wonder about this. And I had a talk with one of my clients. We just got off. And one of the things she mentioned is that her husband believes that if you don't spank a child, you don't hit a child, you're not aggressive with a child, you're raising a wimp. You're raising a child who is going to be totally useless. So who believes this? This is a question I have for you. Who believes this? Okay. Do you guys believe this? Or do you guys not believe this? And I know we have a lot of strong opinions on this. So I really want to talk about this. Does spanking create soft children? Is this the problem with the world? We're not being aggressive enough. So that's what we're going to address today. But before we do, if you're new to my broadcast, I'm Celia Kibler, and I am a family and relationship empowerment coach. And I'm here to help you with your parenting, your family, and really create a healthy dynamic. We need to be more healthy in this world, in this country. Needs to be healthy, not destructive. So for those of you that don't know, I'm the author of Raising Happy Toddlers, How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids, available in English and Spanish. 2 awards, the Mom's Choice Award, as well as the International Impact Book Award, just won a couple weeks ago. So I'm very proud of that. This is a manual, guys. You know how people say kids don't come with a manual? They do. Get it. You can look up whatever you need and find results that are cooperative, that are respectful right here in this book, and that will work. I have raised 5 children. 2 are mine, 3 are my husband's, within a blended family. I've been a real life mommy for over 41 years. I have been a successful parent of a blended family for over 29 years. A lot of experience, and have proud to say have done it without spanking and screaming and yelling. And there are 5 successful, self-reliant, happy, compassionate grown-ups as a result of how they were raised by us. So that's our goal, right? I'm a grandma to 9 kids, and it's all about creating a system, a structure. So let's dive into this, because I know you guys that got things to do. And thank you to everyone for joining. Here's the thing. And I'm going to bring up some key points right off the bat in case you can't stay long. Does aggressive parenting create soft children? No, that is not where soft children, they begin. If you're talking about entitled kids, spoiled kids, they are created by giving into a child's every whim. So a child throws a tantrum and you give into it. A child is like, I want this now. They're demanding, you give into them. That is what creates spoiled children, and only that. Being kind to a child, being respectful, teaches kindness and respect. It doesn't spoil a child, and it doesn't make them soft. Now, am I saying that spanking and aggressive parenting is not helpful? And we're going to, like I said, talk more about that. But respectful parenting with a system is very important. Am I saying there are no consequences? No, there absolutely are consequences. Welcome to life where we make choices and we have consequences. That should always be a part of your parenting system. There are limits, there are boundaries. This is not a free for all. You are running the show, not your children and not their tantrums. You are not doing things dependent on whether your child throws a tantrum or not. Because if your child throws a tantrum and you're like, oh, well, we're not going to do this because they might throw a tantrum, then they're in control. And they will only have more and more tantrums because they're working. When you're spanking and you're doing an aggressive parenting, you're not producing tough kids. You're producing mean kids, and kids that also have no confidence, that have no self-value. That's what you're producing. It has nothing to do with soft and tough. You're making them mean. Why? Because everything you do, everything, good or not so good, you give them permission to do. So if you hit a child, you are giving them permission to hit. Parents are like, well, they were hitting their brother, so I smacked their hiney. Is that sensible? That is illogical. You're hitting that kid, so I'm going to hit you. That is illogical. All you're doing is what you're telling them not to do. They were bad at school. They threatened somebody at school, and now you're threatening them. Guys, everything you're doing, you're giving them permission to do. You're not just role modeling. You actually might as well be saying to them, hey, guys, listen, I'm going to hit you, so feel free to hit somebody else. Because if I'm allowed to do it, you're allowed to do it. There's no double standards. You are role modeling what you want your child to be. The people that are listening here, I would love you to put in the comments the qualities, the character traits that you want for your child. What do you want your child to grow up to be? Because when you think about it, our job is to raise an adult. They're already children. We're not raising children. We're raising adults. What do you want that adult to be like? And when I ask parents this, the ruling answers are I want them to be kind. I want them to be respectful. I want them to be compassionate. Well, ask yourself, are you that person? Are you kind? Are you respectful? Are you compassionate? Are you thoughtful? Or are you aggressive and mean and disrespectful? Being aggressive, screaming and yelling at a person, whether they're tall or small, is disrespectful. Hitting a person, whether they're tall or small, is disrespectful. And I know some of you are thinking, well, there's got to be an appropriate time. There are appropriate times to spank a child or to hit a child. To which my reply is, when is it appropriate for me to hit you? Should I come over to your house right now? You're making me angry, so I should smack you. Is that ever appropriate? Is it ever appropriate for a wife to be hit by a husband or vice versa? A partner to hit a partner, a doctor to hit a patient, a teacher to hit a student? When is it appropriate for somebody else to hit somebody else? It is never appropriate. And your lack of emotional regulation, your lack of emotional control is what is causing your inability to not hit, to not yell and scream. You have to gain your own emotional intelligence. I spanked my first child when her brothers were born. She kept hitting them. She would shout and always cry. I knew it was my fault, so I had to withdraw and start all over again. Yes, because you just, as you found out, you taught her. This is how I react. When I'm disappointed in you, my child, I'm going to scream, yell, hit, basically throw a tantrum. So when you're disappointed, you get to do the same. You are teaching them that. We are not born with emotional regulation. We need to actually learn emotional regulation, and we learn it from our strongest role models, you, the parent or caretaker. I know parenting is not easy, and I also know nobody's perfect. So keep in mind, I am not at all saying you're never going to yell at your child. But when you learn a system, my yell-free family system, when you put that system in place in your home, you are no longer flying by the seat of your pants. You are now proactive instead of emotionally reactive. You are addressing what needs to be addressed when it needs to be addressed. You are setting up proper consequences that will actually teach your child to make a better choice the next time that situation arises, which hitting, yelling, all of that does not teach a child. You've got to learn a better way because there is a better way. And if you are being too aggressive, you are not raising a soft child. You're raising a mean and lack of confidence child. You are raising a child who's afraid of confrontation and feels like they have to resolve all the problems of the world on their own. They can't have confrontation because when they get confrontation, they get attacked. That's what you're doing. You're attacking your child. You're planting all those voices in their head. So tell me by emoji or a comment if any of this relates to you. First of all, if you grew up with parents that were yelling, hitting, aggressive parents, if you grew up in that rage, let me know by putting some emojis up. Now I want to ask you do you think this way? Do you second guess yourself a lot? Do you think, "Oh, no, somebody asked my opinion. No, I'm not gonna really say anything because I'm kinda worried about what everybody else thinks of me. So I'm not gonna mention my thoughts. I don't wanna hear what they think of me." If you're always concerned about what people think of you. If you're in a group and they're like, "Hey, what do you guys want for dinner?" And you're like, "Whatever anybody else wants," even though you really want Mexican food. If you are like that, it's a result of the way you were raised. Tell me how you feel if you have the comments. How do you feel after you yell at your child or you hit your child? How does that make you feel? I'd love to know. All right. So, how does that make you feel? And if you don't want to say it publicly, you can write it down. I have talked to thousands upon thousands upon thousands of parents of how they feel after they've yelled at their child or they've hit their child. And I have never, ever had a parent say they felt good about it. Never. Because deep in your soul, you know it's wrong. And you know there's a better way to handle this. I raised 5 kids in a blended family, never had to hit them, never had to scream and yell at them. I'm not gonna say never. I don't wanna say I never screamed and yelled. I mean, I'm sure I did, but probably you could count the times on one hand in all of their 40 years of life. Worst feeling, not good at all, right. You felt broken. Nobody feels good about it because you know what? I wouldn't want this. I wouldn't want my parents hitting me. How did you feel when your parent yelled at you or hit you? Terrible. I've been yelled at by a parent. That's how I got on this track. It's a terrible feeling. And it's a terrible feeling because deep down in your gut, you know, and I know that it is not the way to help your child. You have to also remember that your child is a child, not an adult. Our human brain takes 25 years to develop. That little 2-year-old of yours has 23 more years. And you're expecting them to respond to you like an adult. It's not just difficult, it's impossible. It can't happen. So stop expecting it. Disappointment is basically expectations that are not achieved. What are your expectations of this child? Are they realistic? Are they age appropriate? Are they anything that you've taught them? Often we'll be like, clean up this room. And a little kid doesn't even know what that means. They're like looking around like, I don't know what that means. I'm just going to sit here and play. But if you were specific and you said, honey, can you put all those books up on that shelf? Can you put your cars in that bucket? They would do it. More concise instructions, not confusing. How long have they been on this planet? Not very long. In their first year, they were kind of a blob, right? Yes or yes? Yes. You have to understand who this child is. As parents, we all have those moments. The pressure builds up. The noise gets too much. And before we know it, we're raising our voices higher than we ever intended. But what if there was a better way? Introducing 21 Days to Stop Yelling at Your Kids, a revolutionary program designed to help you communicate with your children without yelling. Imagine a home filled with understanding and respect, where your words have impact without the need to raise your voice. Created through my over 40 years of experience, this course offers you practical, easy to implement strategies that work in real life. You'll learn through interactive lessons, engaging exercises, and a supportive community. No judgments, just guidance. Because being a parent doesn't have to mean you're perfect. It's about growing and it's about becoming intentional. In just 21 days, life will be calmer and more harmonious. What if you don't get the course? Where will you be in 21 days? Still feeling like a bad parent? I encourage you to join the millions of parents that I have helped who have found a new path to communication and connection. Visit quityelling.com to enroll in the 21 Days to Stop Yelling course today. And for our podcast listeners, use the code PODCAST for a 60% discount. Quityelling.com, because love speaks so much louder than yelling. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Let's get rid of all this aggression, this hitting, because we're raising, if all the hitting and aggression is happening, you're not raising tough children, you're raising mean children. Think about, we have a terrible problem in the United States right now with school shootings. It's out of control. Think about the person behind that gun. Everybody's like, take away the guns, take away the guns. Well, that's all well and good. But you're still left with this angry, raging person who will find some other way to let out their anger and rage. The problem is not the weapon. The problem is the person. And if we are hitting, screaming, yelling, raging, if we are teaching that, by doing that with our child, you are just raising another member of society that is full of anger and rage. It stops with you. We've been through the generational cycles of aggression, of dysfunction, of abuse. We have to take control of this world. There is so much violence going on against children. Children don't stand a chance. But it's deeper than just a tip. It's deeper than just taking away guns. Parents are always like, "Let me find a tip. I've got to resolve this." Well, you can look through the whole internet and find tips, but tips are not going to resolve the core dysfunction of your family. If you have a system in place, you have structure in place, what's great about it is that will show up in the success of your family and your parenting. You will create a healthy family. Imagine this, guys. Do you know that therapy, coaching, psychiatry, all of that is a multi-billion-dollar industry? Multi-billion-dollar industry. Why? Because so many people have to recover from their childhoods. What if parents really decided as much as possible that we need to change the way we're parenting? That we need to have a more hybrid format of parenting, not just one method. We need to have a system. We need to include all the parts of the system, the consequences, the limits, the boundaries, the encouragement, the one-on-one time, the fun time, the limits, the choices, all these things that create a solid childhood. We need to create that. Because if everybody said, yes, I'm going to be consistent with this, because that is key, and I'm going to follow through and I'm going to learn how to have a better parenting system in my house, we would start creating generations that blossom from their childhood instead of have to recover. How many people listening right now feel like they need to recover from their childhood? Or maybe you're already in therapy to recover from your childhood. What if we could just start blossoming from it? What if we could just literally start raising our children with a hybrid parenting system that included, all the good things of very many different systems, because you hear all kinds of types of parenting out there. But it included the things you need to help your children be respectful, be kind, be thoughtful, make choices based on what they know. They are personally responsible. They're not blaming or making excuses. Oh, well, this person made me do it. Like if you as a parent say, my kids make me yell. How many people on here right now think your kids make you yell at them? Put in the comments, give hearts. I'd like to know. Because if you think your children make you yell, you're mistaken. If you really want to change and you really think that you can't, let me tell you, you can if you want to. If there is a will to change, you will change if you want it bad enough. And what takes priority over your family? Nothing. People are always like, well, we need a new car. We need this. We need that. We need the latest and greatest. We need a new cell phone. We have a good cell phone, but we want the latest cell phone. My kids need this. If I don't do this, they're going to feel left out. Why don't you try and take away the questions of parenting and get the answers and create a system? There is a system for everything. Every time I try to control myself, my kid irritates me so bad. Seklani, I get it. I've raised 5 kids, but they're irritating you. They are not making you yell. You make a conscious decision to yell. Only you. You only have control over you. You don't have control over anything else. So you have to learn another way. You have to become proactive instead of emotionally reactive. You have to learn, what can I do in this situation that does not result in yelling? There are ways, there are strategies, there are techniques. There is a parenting system. Get your head clear. Build confidence in your ability to do it. If you like all of this and you're like, it is time for me to stop hitting my kids. I'm not making tough children. I'm creating mean children, angry children, children that are going to be defiant because they're angry with me and they don't know how to control it. You're removed doubt of your ability to do this. You can do it. I have faith in you. I believe in you. And I know deep down, you know it's the right thing to do. You're not creating tougher kids. You're creating meaner kids. Think of it that way. When I hit, I scream, I yell, I'm creating a meaner child. Back to the beginning. Is that what we want? No, that's not what we want. We want a kind child, a thoughtful child, respectful, yes. And all of this creates true respect. True respect. Hitting, yelling is not respectful, and it doesn't create respect. It creates fear. But it doesn't mean they don't have consequences. They do have consequences depending on what happened. Good things create good consequences. Not so good things create not so good consequences. But consequence done in a correct way teaches. Punishment does nothing but create fear and anger. Okay, guys, I really got to run because now I'm late. So thank you for joining me. I so appreciate it. Share this out if you found this helpful. Thank you to everyone that followed me from this. Thank you for everyone that joined me. I believe in you. I know you can do it. And I know how proud you'll be of yourself and how proud your children will be of you when you do. I wish you days filled with peace, love, tons of laughter. Laughter really is the best medicine. And I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Pumped Up Parenting Podcast. If this episode was helpful to you, please share it with a friend and leave us a review that will help others. Wonder why kids don't come with a manual? Well, wonder no more, because I wrote you one, and it's just won a wonderful Mom's Choice Award. Go to celiasbooks.com and buy your copy of Raising Happy Toddlers, as well as my children's books. I appreciate you being part of my mission to help 10 million parents stop yelling at their kids. Please be intentional and hug on those kids of yours. See you at the next episode.